Get some analysis now from Peter Mathews. He is a political science professor at Cypress College in California and joins me from Los Angeles. Professor, thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
Why are we seeing this protest, do you think, in some countries, such as the U.S., Brazil, and Israel, but not in others which have similar or perhaps even more restrictive lockdown measures in place?
I think it has to do with the people in power, for one thing, who are encouraging these protests. President Trump, President Bolsonaro, I don't know about Netanyahu, but there's a problem here, and that is most of the right-wing people who are protesting is they don't believe that the government should be telling people what to do, even when it comes to public health. That goes completely against the public interest. And I think that it was wrong for the president to kind of encourage them to say they were good people. And in fact, he came up with some tweets yesterday to liberate Virginia, liberate Minnesota, liberate Michigan. And with Virginia, he said, liberate Virginia, your Second Amendment rights being threatened. And that's very dangerous. It's almost an incitement. The Second Amendment deals with gun control, with guns, the right to bear arms. So this is a very dangerous situation where the president should be calming things down, should be working with the governors carefully to have a national strategy to get testing. You cannot open the economy until you have massive testing, and the U.S. is far behind per capita on testing than almost all the other countries. The German model is the best, but they did extensive testing, and South Korea is also very good. Yes.
Right. You mentioned the right to bear arms there in America, and we saw these images of long lines of people waiting outside gun stores several weeks ago when the pandemic was first, reaching America. Are you concerned that these protests will, get to that point where they become increasingly more dangerous?
Absolutely. It's very dangerous, and it could incite violence. And in fact, there have been some death threats against some of the governors and by some of these radical right reactionaries who want to go out and do whatever they want. They want to go ahead and infect other people and have their freedom, they call it. It's not freedom. Freedom is to be able to live, for everyone to be able to live, for the general welfare, the general well-being of the country to be promoted, as our Constitution requires. That means we should all cooperate and stay home. Stay home, keep the social distance for several more months, and that will be a sure thing to make this trend of the virus to go down and eventually eliminate it. But if you start this up precipitously and let the economy open up again, then you're going to have real problems, and a second wave will come in through with a viciousness that we wouldn't even imagine to be able to handle, possibly.
Mm-hmm. How do you think this issue with the coronavirus turned into a political one? I mean, it's people's health. There shouldn't be politics at play here, but it very clearly has, at least in America. How do you think it got to that point?
It's very unfortunate because you're absolutely right. You said it very correctly. That it should not be a political issue, an issue, of what, yes or no. It's actually a common interest in all of us being healthy and being able to survive and the country continuing. And yet there's been this partisanship that's mainly left and right. It's mostly right-wingers who want to not go along with the public health and the science behind this. All the scientists, including the president's own scientists, have said it's best to do quarantine for several more weeks, maybe even months, and make sure we get this under control, and then gradually do massive testing right away, but then do gradual bringing back the economy, opening up things slowly while you're having testing, social distancing continuing in restaurants. So the science and reason tells us we should do it that way. But if a small group, and I'm saying small, it's about 1/3 of the population thinks that the government is going too far in restricting our movements at this point. And 2/3, 66%, say the government is not going far enough. We should go even more carefully to have social distancing and to bring this virus under control. So it's not a majority of Americans that are out there in the streets like this. It's a minority, but a significant number.
All right, we'll leave it there. Peter Mathews, thank you so much for your time today.